Everyone, and welcome to another video. Thank you for joining me today. So this is a bit spontaneous actually, because it's Saturday morning in April and 2021, and Stu and I are starting the process of sorting our garden out so that we can grow vegetables and fruit, so that we can be more sustainable with our food. And also we're going to make, well, our garden's really wild anyway, but we're going to make it even more wild, so we're clearing some space for wildflowers and stuff. So I thought it'd be really cool to film the process and show you guys how we make our lives more sustainable and just get more time outside doing things like this really. So I've literally just started de-weeding this section of the garden, because we've got a garden of layers. It gets higher and higher as you go up because we live in a valley. So what we're going to do is, well, I'm going to de-weed this whole section and get it ready to plant some potatoes and some courgettes. But we've also got here, we've got strawberry plants which come through every year for us, and we're inundated with strawberries, which is great for smoothies and the rabbits. Because we've got a bunny and the tortoise, so it's free food for them. And then over here we've got our raspberry plants, which are coming back. Love me a raspberry. And I think we're going to turn this junk spot into hopefully a little rabbit run for our rabbit, so that she can come up off the patio and enjoy some grass when it's dry. And then Stu's just working on the wildlife spot. So we've got our little wood pile, and he's clearing this so that we can plant wildflowers. So yeah, let's get going. So I've just finished that bit there. We just moved our little hutch over that we're going to fix hopefully, and now I'm going to do this section down here, but I'm going to save all the dandelions for the bunny and the tortoise because they love them. So let's get going. Also, we do leave all of our dandelions up on our little bit of lawn there for the bees. Stu's just found a baby slow worm. Look how beautiful it is. I love how gold they are in this garden.
So we're just with the slow worms, we've got loads in the garden, so we're always really careful when we dig. And in actual fact, just behind me here, we've got over a ton of compost, and we've got a compost bin. But we never seem to use the compost because we're just scared of all the slow worms in it. So in that bin the other day I took a photo and there was about 5 of them. So what I'm going to do with this guy, and we'll show you later, we do have some mats in the garden just to generate heat for them. So it is a very friendly slow worm garden. But this guy I'm just going to put under a mat so it's safe from birds and so on, because it is really tiny. But this is a good sign that the slow worms are still breeding in the garden. So I don't want to distress it, so I'm going to put it somewhere safe in an ideal habitat on the compost heap.
And by the way, we're not scared of slow worms, we're scared of hurting them. Just correcting Stu there. So this is a really nice big dandelion. So these just grow anywhere in the UK basically. And they're rife in spring, but they're really important for bees. It's like the first food of the year for them. So if you've got them in your garden, just leave them for a bit, let the bees have them, and then if you've got a bunny or a guinea pig or a tortoise, they can eat them. But you could also make dandelion tea if you wanted to. This is a good forage food. Just make sure to give it a good wash.
Okay, so what we're going to do here, which is quite a big area, we're going to actually create a wildflower meadow here. So originally we had a nice tall willow tree, which we absolutely loved and the birds liked it, but because it was affecting a neighbour's light, we were asked to chop it back, which we did, and that's fair enough. But it is growing back, so there will be new growth, but it won't be as big. So what we wanted to do is, rather than lose a habitat, we wanted to replace one. So we're going to really turn this into a nice wildflower meadow. Now, I said before about the compost we have, so it's always good to recycle your compost and you can make your own compost, but because of the amount of slow worms we have, we've actually bought some compost, but it's important that you've picked peat-free compost so it's good for the environment. Then just behind what we had is a nice big hazel tree as well. Again, hazel will regrow, so we have chopped that back again at the request of the neighbours, but this is a really good habitat, and we always see caches of nuts where small mammals utilise the hazel throughout the winter, so it's a really good store for them. But rather than just chop the trees down, we didn't want to waste them, so with the hazel we've made some bean poles and pea poles, so we'll use them for our veg so we don't have to buy in stuff. And because the wood's quite seasoned, this is going to last pretty much forever, so we've got a reusable resource from the tree. And it is important to say we did cut the trees back in winter, so you shouldn't really cut trees at all, or bushes, during nest breeding, which is nest season, which is between usually March and August. So obviously we would never dream of cutting the trees back at that time, so we waited till winter to do it.
So I'm coming on all right with my de-weeding, but I found a couple of rogue raspberry plants here. At first glance, because you know I'm no gardener, like this is all new to me, which is silly really, because my parents love gardening and stuff and they're quite savvy with their plants and things, but Stu's teaching me the ropes because I want to be more sustainable, and the best way you can do that is grow your own food really. So I'm trying to dig out these raspberry plants so we can replant them with the rest of the raspberries, but they're really deeply rooted, so it's a bit of a hard job getting them out, almost as hard, well probably more hard than dandelions. So now that I've got most of the weeds out, it's just annoying little ones that I can't really get with my hands, so I'm going to give this area a really good rake. So there we go, finished weeding that patch and raking it, and now it's just a lovely bed of soil. Ready for planting really, so we're gonna cover it over with some cardboard or a tarp or something just to stop any seeds flying in. And then hopefully the next video we can show you planting potatoes and courgettes and things. So you might not know guys, but me and Stu have got a fair few rescue animals. So we adopt animals that people can't look after and retire animals from colleges and things so that they can have their last few years of life in comfort and peace without being handled all the time. And I've got a tortoise called Monster, and I've just cleared all that dirt, and they like, well, their substrates usually like soil and things. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to get him out, and I'm going to put him in a little run so he can have a little dig around. See, now he can have a little run in there and get some sunlight. He's a bit sleepy. So what are you doing now, Stu?
So we said before about the hazel from the tree and we can use it. And also just to save man-made materials, we're using some of the palm leaves. And essentially along here we've got some fruit canes and bushes. But we're just going to use them to weave in the stuff like the gooseberries, just to keep it back off the path, so we'll hopefully have a nice wall of fruit. The gooseberries will take a few years to establish, but the raspberries will cut back every year and they should grow back.
So now we've cleared this area and we've put a little bit of bark, but Stu's bringing up a bit more now, but we're going to bark all of the kind of walkway that goes around our vegetable patches.
So a sign of a healthy garden for wildlife is when predators actually come in it. We're just minding our own business and we heard all the blackbirds kicking off and the wood pigeons have all flown into the tree, and we saw a sparrowhawk just come down trying to take something. The birds got away in time, but really cool to see, and it just shows there's lots of birds around and they're bringing the predators in.
Hi guys, so it's the next day. And we've decided to carry on with our gardening. So we've just popped to our local garden centre and picked up some plants and some veggies and stuff, and we're going to work on adding them in today. But I just want to talk you through where we left off from yesterday. So this is where we're up to. So we've got lovely weed-free beds and a bark walkthrough. We've just bought a bit more bark at the plant centre to finish off where we didn't have enough yesterday. Oh, nearly fell over. And there's Cracker. But we also bought, oh God, he thinks it's all about him. Because it is. So we got some lovely courgettes, because I eat a lot of courgettes. So I was really determined just to get veggies that we know that we eat, rather than like fancy ones just for the sake of it. So courgettes. Excuse me, Cracker. And then got some new strawberry plants, but they won't fruit this year, they'll fruit next year. And then some broccoli, because I eat a lot of broccoli. And a couple more raspberry plants, but these ones are white raspberries by the looks of it. Golden raspberries, so that should be interesting. So now we're gonna sort this bark out and then decide what's going to happen next, I think. So now we've finished this section, we're not actually going to be planting anything, are we, babe?
Not today.
Not today. I think you're putting in the raspberries though, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Stu's just going to put those couple of raspberry plants in with the others next to his amazing little cane construction, and I'm going to go back to this area and start tackling that, so it's like this, basically weed free and ready to become a flower meadow.
So the next thing we're going to do is just put our wildflower seeds in. So I just brought up some horticultural sand, so we're going to scatter some of that on the soil. It just helps break it up and helps the seeds take a bit more. We'll also put some compost on. We're going to plant a variety of seeds, including annuals and perennials, and we're experimenting really, so we've got lots of different seeds. Some of them we got for Christmas presents, and also Laura's mum made some sustainable Christmas crackers, and instead of putting like plastic tat in it and stuff like that, she actually put some wildflower seeds in. So we're going to give it a go and see what happens, and if nothing grows we'll just edit this bit out of the video. But another thing we're doing as well is every year we grow brassicas, and we always notice, obviously the butterflies are attracted to them, but this year, in previous years I should say, we normally let the butterflies just eat them, because we love butterflies, but this year we want to grow as much food as possible, so we're going to protect our brassicas. But we've got some seeds left over, so we're actually just going to play around and mix them in with the wildflowers. So we don't know if it will work or not, but hopefully we'll have a nice meadow with a variety of different seeds. We're just putting loads in to try and get as much colour as possible and attract as much wildlife as possible. So we've got lots of different seeds, like I said. We've got some seed bombs here. Again, these were a Christmas present. These sometimes don't come out for a couple of years, but we're going to have a variety there. We've got stuff like poppies in there, cornflower in there, and marigolds in there. Then we've just got a variety of other seeds as well. So some of these, annuals again, so they'll just come up once a year. Just this year. And then we have the perennials, so hopefully they'll come back. But it's something we'll keep on top of just to try and attract as much invertebrate life as possible. So another thing we've been doing is just chitting our potatoes. Now really I would have liked to have done this a bit earlier in the year. We are a bit late with our garden. But essentially what we want to do is force the shoots out, so this will allow us to have bigger potatoes. This can take up to 6 weeks. And we started doing it now and they're coming along fine, so we'll be hopefully planting these out in a week or two.
So before we throw, these are the seed balls just before we throw them in. So hopefully you can see that they're just like almost like little clay balls, and they got seeds inside them, and they obviously burst out and germinate in the soil. So I'm going to throw some of these babies in. So there we have it, all seeded, sown and watered, ready to grow some beautiful wildflowers. Right guys, well that's it now. We're going to go in. We've had enough of the weekend. We've done loads of work and I'm really proud of us. I'm especially proud of me because I'm no gardener and I feel like I've done a lot. Stu's like a little expert, he's been doing it for years. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video following our journey to become more sustainable by planting in our garden, and hopefully next video in this series will be us planting my courgettes and things. So yeah, okay, well make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it so that we know to make more, and subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. See you next time. Say goodbye, Cracker. Say goodbye, Cracker. bye.